Okay, so today is March 26th, and here are the tomatoes that I just up-potted today. These were in the cell tray, the 72 cell seed tray. We up-potted 2 of each variety, the 2 tomatoes that look the best out of each row. Some of them don't look very good this year, like the spoon tomato, just have some dead leaves there. We have a carbon back here, doesn't look too good. And then the chocolate cherry, if you can see that little tiny seedling. So that was one of the pelleted seeds that I talked about. Those guys are really behind because it took the seed forever to germinate and break through that clay casing that pelleted seeds are in. There's a couple more tomatoes that are behind, but I just went ahead and up-potted them just to get a little bit of work out of the way so I don't have to do it later on. But a lot of them look really good. The Black Beauty tomatoes, every single year, I've had those seeds for about 3 years, and every year they're the biggest seedling in the seed tray. So they all look good. The Dollar Tree seeds, tomato seeds, the beefsteak, they looked really good. So I'm sure those plants will do great. And yeah, here's 2 of each variety. Cherry tomatoes and slicer sized tomatoes. So when I pot these guys up, I take a stack of these styrofoam cups. These are just little tiny styrofoam cups that I get from the Dollar Tree. And then I will find like a skewer stick or part of a bamboo stake, stack them all up, just stick this down all of them, and there's your drainage hole. You don't want to do it one by one, and you for sure don't want to do this after you already have soil in the cups. I've forgotten and had to do that, and it is just a pain. So yeah, all of these guys have drainage holes, and then I label the cups, pre-moisten my potting soil or seed starting mix, and then just get to transplanting everything. Yeah, so that's how I up-pot my seedlings. But let's take a look at, let's see, oh, and the artichokes. So here's an artichoke that I potted up, another one right there. You can see a big artichoke right there, and then back in the corner, I did finally separate the foxglove. So that big, huge guy is the foxglove that was in the last seedling update. Pretty big. I just ripped the plant in half at the roots and separated into 2 and put both of them in a bigger pot, so hopefully they bounce back and do good. But the pepper seedlings, these guys are still in a, because I've already up-potted these guys are still fine in their cups. But these guys are looking great. Nice and green, nice and healthy. I did up-pot them in potting soil that already contained fertilizer. So these haven't been fertilized at all. They have just been up-potted and watered and under the grow light. I actually forgot yesterday to turn my grow light on all day long, so hopefully that didn't do too much damage. Here's the blanket flower. It's getting a big bud on top. The puma pepper here. Some habaneros down here. Another puma pepper. Got a bell pepper back there. Let's see. Jalapeno. There's some serranos in here. Tunisian baccalauti. I do have a mix of the California Wonder, which is a green bell pepper, and the albino bullnose, which is a white bell pepper from Baker Creek. I got those seeds a couple years ago. So if you plant hot peppers, or pretty much any pepper in general, they take a long time to germinate. I mean, it took some of these probably 20 days or more to germinate, even with a heat mat. So that's why I started these guys so early, and plus they take so long. The hot peppers specifically, they take so long to get a harvest from. So even though I planted these seeds on January 15th, the really hot ones like the habanero, probably the puma, maybe the bacludi, the really hot peppers, we probably won't get any peppers until September. Late August, September, maybe even October. So that's why I started these seeds so early. But things like bell peppers, sweet peppers, they always produce around the same time that the tomatoes do. So, or if you have like a sugar rush peach or a sugar rush red, sugar rush cream, those guys produced really quick, and they produced all the way up into the fall. This year I don't have any sugar rushes, so hopefully these guys can keep up. That was just a mass production of peppers from the sugar rush. Want to grow a pepper, a hot pepper, very sweet and delicious, according to my husband, plant a sugar rush. Tons of peppers, and they're pretty good, he says. But none this year. And I'll walk out into the greenhouse and show you some of the seedlings left in the seed tray and what I'm going to do with those. But after you pot up your plants, do it on a shady day when it's not blistering hot out, or even if it is hot, just make sure that the sun is not beaming right down on your plants. Because if I would have up potted these and just kept them right out in the sun, they all would have died. I've had it happen before, didn't know. So after I up pot these, I keep them like they are right now in the shade so that they can recover. They're going to go through a little bit of transplant shock because their roots were disturbed and their little living area was disturbed. But if you keep them in the shade, they'll pop right back up the next day. So let's check out my little greenhouse. So here's my little greenhouse. I thought this was from Amazon. My husband actually said it was from Aldi's, the grocery store. Aldi's. It's like a little discount grocery store. They have a garden aisle every year, and they have really, really good stuff. He said this, I think this was 60 bucks, but it was on sale for 30 bucks, I believe he said. But they do have cheap ones on Amazon as well. So take a look in here. So here are my flower seedlings. One thing you need to take into consideration when you're up potting is space. So I had 3 trays. 1 tray of flowers, a tray of peppers, and a tray of tomatoes. So now I have to account for all of that lost room since I up potted my tomatoes, and I'm going to have to bring these trays that were previously inside out here in the greenhouse, and I hope they do okay. If I find out from the weather that it's going to be below freezing, like maybe below 32 or 30, I'll come out and probably bring these guys inside just to make sure that they don't die. These are my backup tomatoes, and these are also the tomatoes that I'll be giving away if all of mine do fine in the cups that I up potted. But the flowers too, dahlias are getting huge. This is, I think I did the seedling update 9 days ago. 8, 9, 10 days ago. It's been over a week, but this is how much bigger they've gotten. Tons of Sweet William or Dianthus have come up. Still one Cosmo. Tons of Marigold. We have the Jolly Jester Marigold and the White Marigold back there. Gazanias are looking good. I just stuck these over top of my nasturtiums. The nasturtiums did come up. I think they did in the last video, but they're looking pretty good. And then I have some turnips that I need to put in the ground. So those are doing great. This is the leftover tomatoes. This is how they look. The Brandywine Black, they had some really, really good seedlings. Here's another huge, big rainbow back there. But yeah, a lot of my seedlings this year just do not look good. I don't know why. They were all grown in the same condition. Some look good, some don't. Maybe it was a watering issue. I did notice a few times that when I was watering my seedlings in this tray, the top would look like it was wet, and then I would stick my finger inside the soil and it was all dry underneath. I don't know if I packed them a little bit too tight and the water wasn't able to sink down in, but I think maybe that was the problem. But here are 2 black-eyed Susan vines that came up. We have a hollyhock there, and then still no butterfly pea back there. Let's see, but yeah, all the other ones have all been potted up. And while we're in here, we'll take a look at the Ranunculus. So check these guys out. These guys, I put these right here, these Ranunculus, in the greenhouse probably like 2 weeks ago, maybe more. These guys are doing good. There's another Ranunculus. This is the Persian buttercup Ranunculus that I got from the Amish farmers market. And then the ones that are in the white cups here are from Dollar Tree. So I've said before, I pre-soaked the Ranunculus bulbs for 3 hours in water and then planted them in some really, really lightly moistened potting soil. You don't want the bulbs to rot. I always have problems planting bulbs because I just overwater them and then they just turn to mush in the pots. Then we have a blanket flower that I've been experimenting with. Just brought this out here probably a week ago just to see how it would do in the greenhouse here. Now this, even under the grow lights, it was really droopy like this. This isn't from being out here. Some of the leaf damage, that's probably from being out here. It might have gotten too cold, or it might just get too much sun so soon. I don't think this was acclimated properly. I just stuck it out here one day because I ran out of room. But the Ranunculus look great. Almost all of them have come up. The Dollar Tree ones actually look better than the more expensive larger bulbs that I got from the farmer's market. So, and then we have my beautiful coneflower here. This is the Sangria. They have the Sombrero Sangrita, I believe. They have like a whole series of Sangria or Sangrita coneflowers. And then I put, there is the other part of the foxglove. And then here's an artichoke that I ripped the whole bottom of the root off of. So I don't know if this guy's going to come back or not. There is a giant Belgium, which I can't find the growth point on this. So I just stuck it out here. And then, let's see what this guy is. This is a Dollar Tree beefsteak tomato. It looks really good. I'm just growing the Dollar Tree tomatoes just to show people how to grow them and that they can grow tomatoes from the Dollar Tree from seed. I'm not really worried about eating them or anything. I'm definitely going to try them and see if they're good or not, but just going to show you that the seeds from the Dollar Tree do work and they are great seeds. If you just have a little bit of patience, start them from seed, keep them moist, give them plenty of light, plant them in the right medium, acclimate them, set them out on time, they'll do great. Really cheap way to start a garden. My first garden in 2020, pretty much the entire garden was just from Dollar Tree seeds, and I was ecstatic. It was so cheap, and I had no clue what I was doing. I just stuck some seeds in the ground, watched a couple YouTube videos, and I had a great garden that year. But I'm experimenting with this close right here. I found out it's actually called a cloche, not a cloche. But I'm going to keep these guys under this so that I don't have to bring them in if it gets below freezing. And I have a little pot here just with, I planted some coneflower seeds, but they never came up. So I don't know what I'm going to do with that. Probably use that soil for something else. But yeah, here is the little seedling update. Everything's doing good. I hope all the potted plants survive. Tomatoes aren't looking too good this year overall, but they're still fine. We'll see. I'm sure they'll bounce back. But I'll do another update in about a week, and I'll see you then.